You are listening to Dove Valley Deep Divers with Erick Trickel
and Lance Sanderson.
Ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line. Vaughn Miller did it again.
On Overtime Media.
Mile High, hello everybody in Broncos country, and welcome into another episode of the Dove Valley Deep Divers. Thanks down to John K. MHH at John K. MHH for John Bawana Beast for throwing in the Mile High Huddle Superfan group. Welcome into another episode of the Dove Valley Deep Divers podcast, guys. I'm your host, Lance Sanderson, and joining me as always is Mile High Huddle senior NFL draft analyst, the one and only Erick Trickel. Erick, what's going on, man? How we doing?
Doing pretty good. The weather up here has been kind of terrible, but it's starting to turn around. Other than that, everything's going good. It's Alaska. It's wonderful. We're about to hit ours. We're just getting towards the end of our second winter, but I'm excited for the change of season that's coming and getting even closer to the draft week by week, which, of course, if it's not obvious, I absolutely love.
Yeah, I mean, senior NFL draft analyst for a reason. This guy watches more tape than like all of us combined. I would almost be willing to bet. Maybe not quite, but still. No, Erick does phenomenal work, dude. It's going good up this way. The baby's growing big. He's getting huge. Caven is he gained an extra 3 pounds over this last time we had a doctor's visit. He's starting to laugh and starting to walk around. We got him in a walker now, and he's zooming around the floor chasing his brothers, and just it's fun, man. I'm enjoying being a father, enjoying doing all this stuff. I actually got an opportunity to go on another podcast, the My Franchise podcast, with Jeremy Harder. It's a little known podcast. I don't get a whole lot of stuff. He asked me to come on and break down the Broncos season. That episode, I will tweet it out on Wednesday when that drops March 3rd. So be sure to check that out, guys. But today, guys, on the Dove Valley Deep Divers podcast, we have a dueling mock draft. Erick has the Draft Network mock draft coming up. I have the Pro Football Network mock draft machine coming up. We're going to go back and forth, pick out an ideal draft scenario for the Denver Broncos, incorporating some trades this time. We've done this a couple times before, using the comment stream as our GM, us being the scouting department. This time we're going to go back and forth and build this. We've never used trades before, so this is going to be kind of interesting. We're going to try to go historically accurate on what the trades are. But before we get into that, guys, we have to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor of the show, Manscaped. Of course, guys, we're close to March now. 2020 is in the rearview mirror. Just get beyond all that. 2020, new year, new me. That mindset is the easiest way to cultivate that is with Manscaped. Manscaped has precision engineered tools, precision engineered performance tools for your family jewels and everybody downstairs for anything below the waist in your grooming fashion sense, whatever you want to do with that. Now, Erick, let's see here. If you let yourself go in 2020 while under quarantine, Manscaped is here for you guys. Erick, what do you got down there for us?
Well, one of my favorite things that I got was the shed, as they call it. It's a little carrying bag. I mean, if you travel a lot, it's perfect for you. It's a good size travel bag. It's travel bag. It's very durable. Can fit all sorts of stuff in it. And of course, the Lawnmower 3000, which comes in its own little carrying case to help keep other stuff clean. It's nice. It's easy to use. It's not too loud or obnoxious. I know a lot of clippers that I've used before, they're very loud, and I'm kind of sensitive to sound a little bit, so it bothers me. But these ones, they also has a light, so you can have really good vision when you're cutting away down there and everything like that, because obviously you don't want to nick anything. And just, again, simple to use, very easy to clean, and they have a bunch of other good products as well. They have a cologne, they have nail clippers, they have some wipes to help keep yourself clean, a deodorant, stuff like that. Just a lot of really good products for all your grooming needs as a man.
Yeah, absolutely. They also got these anti-chafing boxer briefs that they're included that comes with that shed. Hands down the best underwear you guys will ever wear. But guys, 2020 was awful. So make sure your boys are refreshed and ready for new beginnings in 2021. Embrace that new year and new me mindset with Manscaped. Guys, go to manscaped.com, use the promo code HUDDLE. You'll get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Again, promo code HUDDLE, 20% off and free shipping. Your family jewels will thank you.
This is the Overtime Podcast Network.
Now, Erick, before we get into this, there's another thing that we got to kind of throw out there for you guys. We are holding an ongoing raffle, kind of a competition thing here for the Dove Valley Deep Diver show next Friday. We're going to be doing another one of these mock drafts where we have the chat incorporated as well. However, the raffle is to our Super Chat Superstars. We're going to bring one of you guys on. Erick, tell everybody how to get into this.
So for anybody who was here last week, you should already know a little bit of the details. And if you super chatted last week, you're already entered. And what it is every person who super chats, and if you super chat 2 times, 3 times, you get multiple entries for every time you super chat. Well, you get put into a drawing where you get a chance to join us next week and join the show. Where next week, what we're going to be doing is it's going to be a mock draft, much like it is here today. But instead of dueling, is Lance and I, we're going to be your scouting department, and you get to be the general manager. You get to make all the picks, ask us questions about fits, about player styles, all this different stuff. Whatever it is you want to learn, you get to ask us face to face when you join us. You just got a super chat to enter, and it's simple as that. Now, before we keep going on this, I want to say hello to a bunch of people who are out in their chat. And, of course, a thank you to Buonabisi who's sitting here working behind the scenes, working hard as he always does. And we got Robert Kitchens. It's always nice to see you, Robert. You're always in the show. You're such a good friend to Dove Valley Deep Divers, even though we don't always tend to disagree. We've got Dylan Von Arks, Gavin Hull, who has the second best profile picture on here. Sorry, Gavin. It still belongs to Base Gaze for number 1. We've got Milla707 who says, "What's up, Broncos fan?" What's up, Milla707 champ? Hope you've been a good one. It's always nice to see you in here, and it's glad to see you in here early. I know the last couple weeks you've been in late, so it's great to see you here on time. Mark Anthony says, "What's good, Dove Valley Deep Divers fam?" Hey, man, it's Friday, and we get to sit here and talk to you, so of course it's good. Hope everything's good with you. Paris Robinson says, my boys, what's happening, fellas? Hey, man, not much is happening. We're excited to be here doing this dueling mock draft that we'll be getting to here in just a few moments. Before we do, Muhammad Badri enters with a $3 super sticker. And, John, if you want to pull it up, there's a super sticker, a cute little puppy saying, how's it going?
What up, though?
Pretty well. Glad to see you. You really – I think at this point he belongs on the Mount Rushmore of super chats.
Yeah, so just a quick shout out here before we keep going on this. Happy belated birthday to Muhammad. His birthday was earlier this week. So happy birthday to Muhammad. I appreciate you for joining us as always, man. And shout out to you, bud.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. I'd sing happy birthday, but I don't want you all to go deaf with that. Paul 826 comes in with a $20 donation. Thank you, Paul, man. We don't see you around on Dove Valley Deep Divers often, but he's always around chatting with us up on Twitter and everything like that. It's great to see you here. And joining us tonight, Gavin Hall with a $2.99 says, "What's up, guys? Hey, as we said, what's up to you? And you just need to tweak that profile picture just a little bit if you want to take that number 1 spot from Base Gaze." Tim Wen says the D on that hat is huge one. That's what she said. Hey, Tim,
it's a family hour. Come on. It's the family.
It's nice to see you in here, Tim. Hope everything's going good down there in Montana, and go Montana State, right?
Yeah, gross. Get out of here with that. Go Grizz, bear down. Now, Gary Leeds, Travis Bruley, Gavin coming back in here as well. Victor Rios on Facebook. Got a shout out to everybody on the Facebook chat joining us as well. Now, guys, we're going to hop right into this. And let me grab my stream really fast. I got to switch my screens over here really quick. I got to start this draft up, and we're going fast here. So let's see here. What do we got? And let's see, Lawrence goes, Penny Sewell goes, Jamar Chase, Trey Lance, Jalen Waddle, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Patrick Surtain Jr. there. I've got a trade offer here from San Francisco to I actually have 2 offers here, pick 12 and pick 43 for pick 9 and pick 71. I don't like the value on that. I think that if you're going to go from pick 9 to pick 12, you're going to pick up 43 and not give 71. You might be able to give a later day 3 pick, but I'm not giving a day 2 pick for that trade. The other one I have here is the Baltimore Ravens at pick 27, jumping in here with pick 58, pick 196, and a 2022 Baltimore second rounder. Unfortunately, I'm not necessarily seeing anything that I like with this, so we're going to reject this, at least for right this second, and we're going to reject that one as well. We're going to take a look here, and of course, Caleb Farley, my boy cornerback from Virginia Tech, he's on the board. He actually put out, I think it was on his Instagram earlier today, that he runs a 4.2440. I'm not exactly sure how accurate that is, and we will see on March 26th when his pro day hits, but this is the easy selection for me here. I'm going to bolster this cornerback depth. I'm going Caleb Farley right here, even though I would really like to get another offer and trade down into the 20s area and potentially target an edge here, pick up another day 2 pick and potentially another pick down in 2022 as well. But without that trade on the board, I'm going to just take Caleb Farley right here.
That's always good to see. I really like Caleb Farley, and even though I no corner to me really has a value of a top 10 pick right now, but if Denver's going corner at number 9, it's definitely going to be Caleb Farley, at least for me anyways. If they go Patrick Surtain, it'd be a questionable scheme fit for me, but hey, they're the guys who work in the NFL. Maybe they see something I don't with it.
Right.
Now, we're going to pull up what I have here on my side of it. And as you can see, I already did a couple of trades while Lance was doing his talking. Simply put, Caleb Farley, as I said, he was there on the board. Patrick Surtain was there on the board. I wanted to get some extra picks. Now, I did 2 trades to get down, and one of these trades may actually be very familiar. Now, to clarify this, Denver, when they were on the clock at 9, there was 2 quarterbacks left, Justin Fields and Trey Lance. So I decided to hit up Chicago, and this is based on the 2019 Broncos Steelers trade. That was for a linebacker. So I wanted a little bit extra value. Obviously, it's a pick higher than going from 10 to 20, 20 to 9. And for a quarterback. So that trade was Denver sent number 10 overall for 20, 52, and a third-year pick the next year, which was last year. Well, this time I sent it for 20 and 52, and I got an extra, a 5th-round pick, which I think was like 185, or 4th-round pick, which is 185, I think is what it was, and also picked up a 2022 second. I would have liked to get the first. In reality, that's probably what I would offer, but the simulator stuff just wouldn't let that happen. That's what I'd be pushing for to trade up for it. So I was willing to take what that is. And the second trade was I moved down. This is based off another 2019 trade where Baltimore moved down from 20 to 30 for Green Bay's 30th overall pick and 2 4th-round picks. I sent 20 for 29, and I got Denver. I got the 29th overall pick, obviously, 2 4th-round picks, and a 5th-round pick in 2022. So I was able to do all that. Now, looking at who's on the board here, there were some players that I identified early on. One of them was Azeez Ojulari, who he went the pick before. He went at 28. Another one was Erick Stokes. He's still on the board. He's a little bit 40. He's at 41. To me, it's a little bit of a reach here, but I still like him. Richie Grant is another one, and then Gregory Rousseau. He's the best overall player according to TDN. But for me, personally, the best player that's left on the board that I identified as somebody that I want is Richie Grant. He's just above Erick Stokes for me. So I'm having that debate, Lance, and maybe you can help me with this. I know you like Richie Grant a lot, but factoring in positional value here.
Yeah.
Cornerback is a lot more valuable than safety. I feel like I can get a safety later. Should I go with Erick Stokes over Richie Grant here?
In the first round, yes, absolutely. You have the added benefit of the 5th-year option there, and also Erick Stokes is – there's people saying that he could potentially be cornerback 1 in this class. I mean, this cornerback class is kind of weird. There's a lot of top end talent. It's actually a pretty deep class, but there's not an elite guy. There's not a guy that's going to be a Denzel Ward or let's say a Minkah Fitzpatrick from a few years ago. Like there's not that top 10 guy. Erick Stokes, you're probably going to see him be more towards like the cornerback 3 or 4, but there are some people that are saying with his high end athleticism and his tackling ability, his scheme versatility as well, that he could potentially be cornerback 1 in this class. You're at what, 29 right now or 28, something like that. So yeah, I would take Erick Stokes here and see if you can't bank on Richie Grant being available for you at 40.
Now, just to be clear, he is my 33rd overall player. Richie Grant is my 32nd overall player. And Erick Stokes is my number 3 corner. So I actually agree here, thinking about it. The value of Erick Stokes at this point is just something that I can't pass up.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are going to see something that's going to blow your mind here in just a few minutes, because when I get back onto the clock here in just a few picks, actually, it is my turn. And let me pull that back up here for you. So sorry, guys. So as I'm sitting right now, Richie Grant just went 39 overall to the Carolina Panthers, which absolutely breaks my heart. There's a couple of guys I really like here as well. I'm probably not going to do a lot of trades because the trade system on this one is a little bit wonky on the Pro Football Network one. And also I didn't get a chance to really do any of the research that Erick did on this. But however, I will try to make a trade here if I get an opportunity. I actually have a couple of trade offers here. I have number pick 40 and pick 114 from the Broncos to Washington for pick 51, and a 2022 second round pick from Washington. And also on the offer, I have a Kansas City trade. I'm not going to do that. I'm not trading anything to the Chiefs or to the Raiders or to the Chargers. This actually kind of intrigues me here. This Washington trade, you're going to pick up that extra second rounder. And I'm not necessarily thinking quarterback for the Broncos right now. I think they're going to go get a veteran bridge guy. You got Mac Jones at 33 here, Zaven Collins as well, Wyatt Davis, Pat Freiermuth, Jalen Phillips are the top guys. Baron Browning is a guy that I'm very interested here. Let's see if I can figure out how to scroll this down. Maybe not. You know what? I am actually going to take that Washington trade offer and kind of work my way down the board here just a little bit and see if I can't find let's see here. Yeah, let's do that. Confirm that. There we go. We'll go back to the sim and watch this go down. We've got Deontay Brown, Wyatt Davis coming off the board, Creed Humphrey, Aleem McNeil, Pat Freiermuth, Landon Dickerson, Baron Browning. He just went with Asante Samuel Jr., Jalen Phillips. Okay, we're going to reject a trade here, and we're going to take the value here. Zaven Collins, the 34th overall prospect. The Broncos need to have an inside linebacker as well. Decent in coverage, very good downhill. It's kind of redundant here a little bit because he also is very similar to what Alexander Johnson already brings. But there's also another guy here, Greg Newsome, the cornerback out of Northwestern. I love the value here. Great scheme fit, great tackler, very smooth hips, turns and runs very well. He can play in man, can play in off zone if you want to. That is actually the direction I'm going to go. Gregory Newsome, come on down at pick number 51 for the Broncos.
There was something you said before we passed it over to me about Collins that I just wanted to get your take on. You said he's really good coming downhill. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Okay, so what I like about him, he's not exactly the best blitzer, but he does work sideline to sideline and getting into the flats a lot better. I like the way that his angular pursuit and going and attacking the flats and coverage. He's more so I know this is kind of a crazy comparison, but the way that I see him is that Devin White role, what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did with him in the Super Bowl, where he would attack to the flats and pass coverage and go get running backs out that way. That's just my personal opinion on him.
See, I have to disagree. I don't like him that much against the run. I think that he has a lot of issues against it. I think he's a much better blitzer because I view him as a guy who is that hybrid edge, really, because he does so well attacking and getting after the quarterback, and he does well in coverage. His issues really are against the run. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's just something where he just doesn't want to be as ferocious in it. I don't know if it's just a lack of experience there or what. There's just something that's just coming downhill, which makes me weird to play. I'm glad you went Newsome. I really like that pick. And I really love the doubling up on cornerbacks, especially after doubling up on wide receivers last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I'm back on the board here, and, of course, we just got done talking about Zaven Collins. But I'm not looking his way. It's nothing against him. I like him as a prospect, but I just have a concern about him in this defense with those issues against the run. Now, there's a guy – it's obvious here. I mean, Richie Grant, I was looking at taking him over Eric Stokes. Richie Grant is here. There's not much to talk about. There's plenty of other options here. I like Trevon Mulrig. I think he's the best center fielding safety in this, which if you're working with a single high safety defense, he would be great. Richie Grant, I think that he works much better in a cover two than Trevon Mulrig does. So I'm going safety here. A couple tackle options, Leon Eichenberg, Dylan Radins, Alex Leatherwood. I kind of like the depth of this tackle class. I'm going to wait. Edge, kind of the same thing. Jason Owe, I'm a big fan of his, but there's just so much depth here. And I have another pick from that trade down. I have pick 52. So I'm going to take the top safety here, and I'm going to try and see what tackle or edge falls to the next pick. So Richie Grant, Eric Stokes, this is a good way to bring youth into that secondary. Denver needed a number one corner. They got that, hopefully, with Eric Stokes. They need a potential replacement for Kareem Jackson. Richie Grant, he's that guy who can come in and fit there. I'm not going to take a trade here. At this point, I wanted to bet on some people falling. I'm going to look and see who fell. So, again, pick 52, and Zaven Collins is there again. And it's tempting because he's a good player. He's a good prospect. But I'm going to take the guy I like. I kind of like him a little bit more. I don't think he's a better prospect at the moment, but I think he can end up a better player. That's Baron Browning. I like his ability to do everything. He's good against the run. He's good in coverage. He's smart. He's athletic. He can blitz. He just does it all very well. He's kind of that jack of all trades, master of none type. And I think that with what the Broncos are looking for, they need that versatility from Baron Browning that he brings them without having the limitations against the run that you get with Zaven Collins. And it sucks because if basically almost any other defense, I'd be taking Collins here in a heartbeat. But for the Broncos at this point, it's just what they're looking for, what they need. Baron Browning fits a little bit better than Collins does.
Dude, those two picks back to back, and the fact you got Stokes to after trading down, that's absolutely masterful drafting there. And you're going to see something here, guys, because I'm up on the clock here, and where you happen to get Eric Stokes, he's available for me right now. They have Pro Football Network has him as the the number 67 overall prospect here, and hopefully my computer doesn't restart because that would be really bad. Anyways, Broncos on the clock at number 71. They've got a couple offensive tackle options as well. Dylan Radins out of North Dakota State, Spencer Brown, Northern Iowa, guy that had a really good Senior Bowl. You got Pete Werner, Erick Stokes as well. So honestly, even though I would really love to take Stokes here because I think the value is tremendous, I already have two cornerbacks. I'm not going to triple up and go in that direction. I am actually, however, going to roll down here. You got Patrick Jones, who is an edge out of Pittsburgh, probably more of a 4-3 guy. You've got Tylan Wallace as a wide receiver, explosive guy that I really like out of Oklahoma State. Jackson Carman out of Clemson, Quincy Roche. You've got Chaz Surratt, a coverage linebacker, and this is really where I like that linebacker role, especially the depth of this class. These rankings are a little bit different than what I'm used to actually running here. However, where I've got to go here, and it really kind of depends on what happens with Juwan James and his contract situation. Eric and I have kind of touched on it a little bit briefly last week, I believe. The Broncos could potentially move on from Juwan James this year. So I'm looking for a developmental tackle that has high-end upside. And Spencer Brown, the offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa here, I love the fit. I like the ability, the leverage that he works with, the aggressiveness that he has in the running game. This is a great pick for the Broncos. Spencer Brown at 71.
This is the Overtime Podcast Network.
That's a good pick. I like him. I like what he could potentially be if Mike Munchak's able to develop him. And as we saw with Garrett Bowles, we saw what Mike Munchak can do with a tackle. It's going to be interesting to be. I mean, the rumors are that what's being reported is that they kind of want to bring back Elijah Wilkinson and Calvin Anderson and let them compete for right tackle. I don't think it should be just two. I do think they need to add another body, and I think Spencer Brown is a good option for that. Even if he doesn't win the starting job this year, he's a guy that, as we were talking about, Munchak can still work with and develop. Well, one of those two guys start, and maybe if they're not cutting it towards the end of the season, you can enter in Spencer Brown and develop him. And chemistry is such a big thing that it's good to get that developmental piece now here when you can. Now, I'm back on the clock here, and as you can see, I'm picking at pick 101. Now, it came to be pick 71, and there was just a bunch of players that I like, I don't love. And I scrolled down a little bit looking at who's here. I saw guys like Jordan Smith on the board, Andre Sisco, Trill Williams, Paris Ford, guys I really like for the Broncos. And being able to pick up a couple extra picks, I was able to get so I set 71 for 101, 103, and 247 in the 7th round. This is based on the 2019 trade for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They sent, I think it was pick 70, I think is what it was. And they sent for 2 picks in the 90s. So it was a little bit value there. I just couldn't replicate that here, but I'm still going to take this. There's still plenty of options for me on the board. Now, I haven't taken an edge yet, and I really like Jordan Smith. And there was a Dane Brugler mock from The Athletic a couple weeks ago, where he had Jordan Smith to them in the 2nd round. I like Jordan Smith. I think 3rd round is his value. We're nearing the end of the 3rd round. I'm going to take him here, and there's a couple players that I'm looking at for the next pick, and I want to see if they fall. So let me go ahead and draft him in here. And 2 players. I had 1 pick in between my picks. It's a good bet that somebody's going to be here. Now, I took Erick Stokes already. And there's another guy on here. I want to help that cornerback room even more. Michael Ojemudia, he did a great job, but Denver, they need to better their depth as well. Yep. So here I am. I look at Trill Williams. This is a guy who I think can rise up to the 2nd round. Super athletic. And that secondary at Syracuse last year in 2019 was nuts. Mm-hmm. Andre Sisco, who's sitting on the board, not a couple before. Ifiatu Melifonwu, who I saw him go. I think he went somewhere in the 2nd round. I think that's where he goes. And Trill Williams, man, he's super athletic. He fits in. He can everything that you're looking for on it. And then just letting it scroll through here to my next pick before I pass it off back to you at pick 114. And there's a guy here. I haven't picked up a tackle yet. And I really want a developmental tackle. And this was a guy who caught my attention at the Senior Bowl. That's Dante Smith out of East Carolina.
There you go.
He's long. He's athletic. He's got good power. I think that the inside zone scheme isn't the best for him, but he has the traits to more than work there. And getting him developed, and it's the same thing with Spencer Brown, as I was talking about. He's a guy who can come in. He can compete with Elijah Wilkinson and Calvin Anderson to start this year. If not, you have a guy that Mike Munchak's able to sit there and work with and develop. A couple other players here that I was looking at. If I didn't take Trill Williams with the last pick, then I'd be looking at Israel Mukwamu, Keith Taylor, Elijah Griffin, and Benjamin St. Juste. I was thinking about Kylan Hill here a little bit. Frank Darby, I know that a lot of Bronco fans aren't ready for a receiver yet, but trust me, guys, at some point in this mock draft, I'm taking a receiver. I think it's a need.
Yeah,
but I'm going with Dante Smith here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step over. I didn't mean to step over the top of you there multiple times. I do apologize for that, Eric. Back to the wide receiver thing. Yeah, there's a couple of wide receivers in the tail end of the tail end of the draft. The Broncos definitely need to be looking at. I mean, Deshaun Hamilton is potentially on his way out. Tim Patrick's on a restricted free agent tender. It could be a trade piece. Cortland Sutton coming off the ACL. We've talked about this multiple times, guys. The Broncos, it's a sneaky need. It's one that you probably want to draft for the future here. And there's a couple of different options here. I'm back on the clock. Let me add this up here really fast. I've got Watt Fillier from Indiana. That's a guy that's Eric actually has as a sleeper pick. He tweeted out, name some sleeper picks that you have in this draft, and somebody mentioned Watt Fillier. I haven't got a chance to take a look at him yet. However, I really am intrigued after Eric said, yeah, this is a really good one there. Shaka Toney, the edge rusher out of Penn State. There's some rumblings that he could play some off ball as well, and that is very intriguing to me because I really value versatility. Richard LeCount, the safety out of Georgia. You've got Kylan Hill here. Sage Surratt is a guy out of Wake Forest, wide receiver that had a killer Senior Bowl and was big bodied guy. He's a natural replacement for a Tim Patrick if that's the way that the Broncos want to do and let him go. You've got William Bradley King. I think this is a little rich for him. I think that you could probably get him in the tail end of the 6th round, maybe the 7th round as well as a developmental edge rusher. A lot of length, a lot of athleticism, good bend as well. There's something to work with here. I actually do like William Bradley Key. Daz Newsome is a guy that I know Eric is really high on. Jarrett Patterson, the running back from Buffalo. But guys, I think I'm going to come back up here, and we're going to take a look toward to bolstering the defensive line a little bit. And the defensive tackle Marvin Wilson from Florida State. This is a guy that plays with plenty of power. He can two gap. He's a little bit versatility with him. He can play the 1, play the 3, potentially even play the 5 as a single gap penetrator. This is a guy that is a kind of a chess piece and a player that Vic Fangio really likes to have on his defensive line. So I'm going to go Marvin Wilson here at 154.
All right, before I get back to it, I just want to grab a couple comments here. Jay Roper says, how's everyone doing? Hey, we're doing great. We hope you guys are doing great. We hope you guys are enjoying the show with our back and forth with this mock draft. At the end of it, once we're done with this, which hopefully shouldn't be too much longer, we'll ask you guys who you like the best. We'll pull up what we do and everything like that, and get your guys' opinions on it. Jamal Killings, hey, what's up, Broncos country?
What's up, dude?
Hey, Jamal, I'm not sure if I've seen you in the chat before,
no,
man. It's great
name.
to have you here. Definitely, I'm pretty sure you're a new name. Great to see you in here. We're glad you joined us. Mohammed Badri says, damn, we'll have 40 draft picks. Hey, George Payton said, more darts to throw. I'm just getting more darts to throw, man. No, I'm actually a big believer in that philosophy, too. The more picks you have, the more chances you have to hit. I'm always big on trading down more so than trading up. Big thing for me. And if you ever send me mock drafts and you have you trading down, odds are I'll probably like it. Of course, who you take will have a factor in it, but yeah, I like the trading down. Black Knight came in with the super chat. Hey, Black Knight, it's been a while since we've seen you in Dove Valley Deep Divers, I believe. I know you've been in here quite a few times before. I think it's been a while. My memory's I'm not for sure on that, though. He says, with the $10 donation, he said, do you draft the quarterback in the first round if Peyton turns the roster over next season? Seeing as 2020 quarterback class looks bad. If they're looking at turning the roster over next year, I wouldn't trade up for one. But if one fell, I would definitely look at it. And then you try to find a coaching staff that can really fit and benefit him. With the 2020 or the 2022 class, to me is an interesting one because their top quarterback right now, many people have a Sam Howell, who would be my quarterback 5 this year. I just don't have him above the top 4. But their quarterbacks 1 through 6 are basically quarterbacks 5 through 11 or whatever. They have so much better depth in the class. So it's a weird one. It just lacks a top talent. We don't know who's going to rise. So next year at this time, who knows? Maybe we can see all 6 of those guys really rise up and be like, hey, look, these guys are the top 6 picks of the draft. We don't know yet. A lot's going to change. Spencer Rattler, he's one that a lot of people love, but I love his tape. If we're just getting him the football player, I'd be all for it. But there's just some stuff about him off the field. He was on a show where he was just very arrogant and everything like that. And I like arrogance to a degree. He seemed to cross that.
I'm going to grab this one from Base Case really fast while we got an opportunity, a little in the chat here. $4.99 donation, Base Case, the best profile picture that we have on YouTube, at least in my opinion, and Eric's opinion as well. Would you guys take a flyer on Jamie Newman in the 4th round? And what other mid-round quarterbacks beside the Stanford quarterback?
This is actually interesting.
It is.
Because so
Eric's on the clock, and he's going to have Davis Mills here. He's probably going to have Jamie Newman as well.
Quarterback. We've got Davis Mills and Jamie Newman. Now, TDN has them as 171 and 198 overall prospects. I think that's a little low. I have them right around 150, so this is the range that I'd be looking at. But I definitely would. Obviously, I'm looking at them here. They're not the way I would go at just yet. So let's get back to here. Let's look at what they have. And I want to bolster this defensive line with Jalen Twinman, add another pass rusher in there. I think people are forgetting about how good of an interior pass rusher he was in 2019 because he opted out. I love his game. I think he could fit in extremely well, working with Draymond Jones, McTelvin Najim, being part of that rotation. Like, oh man, that gets me excited for it. Well, now I'm back on the clock because of the 3 trades I did. And we did limit it to 3 trades, guys, so you won't see me trading back anymore. And this is where I'm looking at. I like Davis Mills. I wish he had more experience. I wish the injuries weren't why he had less experience. He got the thing we can't say, so he missed some time last year. He had a bad knee injury. There's a lot of questions about his knee. Jamie Newman, he opted out this last year. There's been some speculation as to why. There's been some people who have reported that he opted out because he didn't want to face JT Daniels in a quarterback battle for the starting job, which if that's the case, that bothers me a little bit. I'm going to go with Jamie Newman here over Davis Mills just because of the health factor. They're both very closely graded for me. Jamie Newman is graded just beneath Davis Mills, if I remember correctly on my rankings. But for Denver at this stage in the game, I guess I'm just scared off by Jake Butt and all these other injured players that we've taken risks on. But it also has to do with the athleticism. I think Jamie Newman brings a little bit more in that department than Davis Mills does.
This is the Overtime Podcast Network.
No, I definitely agree with you on that. He's a very good athlete. They ran a very weird mesh point. The last tape that you're actually going to see from Jamie Newman is the tape that he had in 2019 when he was at Wake Forest. And they have a very weird RPO game where they have an extremely elongated mesh point with the running back quarterback exchange there. And with him and his footwork coming out of that, I'm not sure if it was a coaching thing or anything like that. His footwork got a little bit wonky, which led to some inaccuracy issues. He didn't have the best talent. The game that I've watched it, I was like, he's got all the traits to pop, and he's got at least decent arm strength. He showed better arm strength, at least in my opinion, at the Senior Bowl than he did at Wake Forest. But he's got the arm strength. He can fit some stuff into some tight windows, throws with a little bit of anticipation. I love his touch as well. I mean, Jamie Newman is a guy. I haven't got a chance to really dive into Davis Mills. I've seen a little bit of his stuff, more highlight tapes than anything. But Davis Mills to me and Jamie Newman, kind of the same thing. But I do value that versatility and the ability to go and create something with your legs. To answer that super chat from Base Case, you've got Kellen Mond in there as well from Texas A&M. KJ Costello, probably later end of the guy, Mississippi State. You've got, what's the other one? Shane Buechele from Southern Methodist as well, probably another late round guy. This quarterback class, as far as the depth goes, is not necessarily very great. There's a couple of really decent high end options. Obviously, you've got the generational talent in Trevor Lawrence, and you've got obviously Zach Wilson, all the top guys you already know. But at the same time, there's some depth issues with this quarterback class. Now we're back on the clock here with me, and let me get this pulled back up here. Again, going back to something that Eric had said and potentially taking a wide receiver. Again, you've got Josh Palmer, the wide receiver from Tennessee, who had a decent Senior Bowl. You've got Trevon Grimes, who I haven't seen. Anthony Schwartz, burner. Dude, like this guy is incredibly fast. Wicked quick twitch explosion. Tamorian Terry is a guy that figures to be a bigger body deep threat kind of a deal. You've got some tight ends on the board. But if you look down here, remember how I said that the Pro Football Network simulator has some very wonky rankings? 202, Paris Ford, my dude, the safety from Pittsburgh, on the board. I'm taking Paris Ford here, screaming, kicking, and hollering my way to the podium and make this pick. This is another guy much in the same mold as a Richie Grant. Very versatile, can play single high, can play some two-man, can play down the slot. Physical guy, great tackler. The fact that he's on the board here at 193 blows me away. I will take that value 10 times over every single time.
All right, now Lance is quite a bit ahead of me. I'm just now getting to pick 153, and he's already entering the 7th round.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say here, I've got, I think, like 6 picks, 5 picks, something like that here. I'm going to get through these. So, again, can't trade down anymore. There's a couple players here. I've already taken 2 corners, and I can sit here and kind of go back over it. Took Erick Stokes in the 1st round after trading down twice. Took Richie Grant as safety in the 2nd round. Baron Browning with the pick that I got from the first trade down I had. Jordan Smith, an edge rusher. Trill Williams doubled up on those outside corners. I like Trill Williams because he can do more than just a boundary. He's a versatile guy. He can. I think he can be that kind of Will Parks replacement. Play in the slot if needed. Play deep. Do all sorts of different roles. Dante Smith, your developmental tackle option. Jalen Twyman, your interior defensive line pass rusher, and then Jamie Newman, quarterback. And there's still plenty of other places that I want to go here, but at this point, I'm looking at the board. And there's quite a few players this late in the game in the draft. There's a lot of different ways I can go, but I didn't come away overly impressed with Asang Bossy last year, and Bryce Callahan can't stay healthy. I'm taking a guy that TDN has lower than I do. I like him. I think that he's probably a 3rd, 4th round pick. And I think that he fits the scheme very well. He's a very good corner. I don't like him so much on the boundary. He's not like Elijah Molden to me. But I like Kerry Vincent. I'm going to take him. I'm going to go get a Bryce Callahan potential replacement. All right, and then as we continue going on, obviously you can see I took 3 corners in this. When Denver got as exposed in their secondary as it did last year, you've got to invest some of that to fix it. 3 corners and a safety. Well, more so 2 corners, a defensive back, and a safety. A lot of versatility. A big focus on the defense. Now, I have to focus on the defense because, to me, Denver is very old and expensive on the defensive side of the ball. They need to get younger. They need to get cheaper. Offensive side of the ball is definitely options. It's just young. There's just not many guys that they got to go with. Going back here, I saw somebody said something about Cordell Volson.
Yeah, that was Andrew Switzer.
Cordell Volson, he just happened not to be there, not in a place that I liked him. If he's still on the board at this point, I'd definitely be looking at his way to compete with Dante Smith as a developmental guy. I like Dante Smith, though. I'm a big fan of him, big fan of him and what he brings, his attitude, just everything about him. Anyways, looking at this, I grabbed an edge. With Von Miller probably being back at a reduced cost, Bradley Chubb getting his 5th-year option, likely picked up. Malik Reed, he has 1 year left. So Jordan Smith, he's that developmental guy, but that can replace Jordan Smith, or Malik Reed as the 2nd number 3 rusher next year, eventually replacing Von Miller. I don't really want to look at another edge. It's just at this point, I just don't see the value really for it. I want to add speed on offense. And Anthony Schwartz here, he's probably one of the fastest guys in the draft, I think. He's a former track sprinter. He's definitely more sprinter than football player at this point. You just want to get him the ball quickly, let him attack deep and everything like that. I like Anthony Schwartz. I like him to add depth to this. I like him to add speed to this Broncos offense.
Yep.
And if Drew Lock can improve on hitting those deep throws, Anthony Schwartz can make this offense extremely dangerous. But a lot will ride on hitting those deep throws with him or setting up good screens. That's another big thing with him.
The speed after the catch is huge with Anthony Schwartz. And like I said, that quick twitch explosion going from 0 to 60 in less than 2.5 seconds, like it's like half a step and he's gone. If you can get him and get him the ball in some open space, this is a guy to take any touch to the house. And much like KJ Hamler as well. And unfortunately, I don't know that the Broncos used KJ Hamler correctly, but they kind of had to put him into a role that he wasn't necessarily ready for. The injury to Hamler kind of hampered him in training camp anyways. He had a hamstring injury, had another hamstring injury as well. Then you had Cortland Sutton going down with that torn ACL. It forced KJ Hamler into a role that he wasn't necessarily ready for. And he actually grew. I propped him up on the My Franchise video that I did coming. Like I said, I'm going to plug this again. March 3rd, there's a podcast with me joining the My Franchise podcast. I actually plugged up some KJ Hamler in there a little bit as far as his growth and development as a full full natural wide receiver more than just a deep threat or a burner kind of a guy. Very good route runner as well. Anthony Schwartz is another one of those same kind of guys that's quick twitch and is very explosive, not necessarily the greatest route runner. You get the ball in his hands quick and let him just go to work. Yes, he can be. And Rich coming in here, can Schwartz be a returner? Yes, he can be a returner.
Now, looking at this again, I just have one more pick before I pass. I'm at 193 right now.
Okay.
I haven't taken a running back yet. This is where I'm really starting to focus on getting the depth, bettering that area. And there's 2 running backs here that I'm really looking at. Jaret Patterson out of Buffalo, who reminds me a lot of Maurice Jones-Drew. It's unbelievable how much he reminds me of him. And Khalil Herbert out of Virginia Tech. For what the Broncos do, both of them fit. They both can fit multiple schemes in case of an offensive change. I like Khalil Herbert a little bit more because I think he's a little bit fiercer as a pass blocker. And I think that the Broncos were lacking that whenever Melvin Gordon wasn't out there on the field. So I'm going to go Khalil Herbert here and just give you an option, that third running back option, depending on what they do with Phillip Lindsay, maybe a number 2 option behind Melvin Gordon. But Khalil Herbert, he can be the lead back in a stable. And Denver seems to be a team that's going more towards a stable style running game. So I like him. I like him as a lead back. And you just get plenty of options with what to do with running backs with undrafted free agents. The Levante Bellamy, of course, is in there. They had the other running back, too, that his name I can't think of off the top of my head. Used him quite a bit as a fullback this last year. So they have options with what they want to do. I like Khalil Herbert at this point. I think it's really good value.
Yeah, he also had a very good Senior Bowl as well, and is a very underrated pass catcher coming out of the backfield. I actually like Khalil Herbert as well. He is a guy that you can grow and develop as a true 3-down running back. He can stay on the field in pass protection, can get out of the backfield, catch some screens. He's a really good route runner as well. Sneaky good pick there, Eric. I really do appreciate that. Where are you landing right now? I'm going to pull mine up here. Where are you at?
I'm at 231.
You're at 231. Okay, so for me, I am at 235 here, and This draft is not falling the right way for me, quite honestly. Let me pull up what I've got here. We've got Farley. We've got Newsome, some back-to-back cornerbacks. We've got Spencer Brown at the offensive tackle position, Marvin Wilson, Paris Ford at the safety position as well. I need an edge. I need an edge really bad, and I also need a running back.
Defense.
Say what?
Click over to defense.
Well, yeah, I understand that.
If you want to look at edges, I mean, that's the best way to look at edges right now. And I do want to say this, seeing it real quick, Malik Herring, he's not an edge. He's a defensive lineman. Yeah, no, he's a defensive lineman. Jonathan Cooper is definitely a kind of an intriguing option here as well, but I don't think that he's going to be an edge in Vic Fangio's defense. I think he's more of a 4-3 kind of a guy. There are also some different options here for me as well. Tommy Kramer, offensive guard out of Notre Dame. I like that. Forget Wyatt Hubert. We don't like the length there. Let's see, KJ Costello as a sneaky quarterback pick here, but this is my guy right here, Taron Jackson. Again, probably another 4-3 kind of a guy, but I think there's some versatility. He can bend around the corner as well. Very, very decent edge pick out of Coastal Carolina. So I'm going to go potentially him in this particular area. Another guy that I really like, KJ Britt, linebacker out of Auburn, decent coverage guy. I think he can drop back and play that coverage role as a developmental linebacker. So that's where we're going to go here and wait for 236 to come back around. 237 is on the board, and now I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab my guy. Where is he at here? Taron Jackson out of Coastal Carolina. That's pretty good. I think you have one more pick coming up, and we'll let you finish it off, and then I'll take over and finish it up here. We'll do our recap, and then we'll take any questions you guys have. And just a quick reminder, don't forget, if you guys want to enter a chance to win, a chance to appear with us next week doing a mock draft where you get to be the GM, just got to send in a super chat, and you'll be entered to win. The more super chats you send in, the more chances you have the more entries you have.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, guys, don't forget to get those in here quick. We're running a little bit long. We wanted to kind of be done about the 30-minute mark. We're about 40 minutes right here because Eric had all them stupid trade downs and whatnot and getting all that value and creating a gigantic killer draft.
You're just mad because my mock draft's going to be better than yours because of the trade downs.
Yeah, oh, yeah. No, absolutely. You're getting a lot of my guys here. I'm smiling and laughing. This is great, dude. You're absolutely killing me. But I'm going to grab one of your guys here. And, yeah, I know that I've already grabbed 2 cornerbacks, but the cornerback depth of this team is absolutely terrible. Elijah Griffin.
You're going Devontae Bosby Jr., huh?
Yeah, I am going Devontae Bosby Jr. I really am. Elijah Griffin, the cornerback out of USC here, extremely tremendous value. This guy's a risk taker. He likes to click and close on the ball, decent tackler as well. I don't think he's quite as long as Devontae Bosby is, but this kid is a tremendous scheme fit. He can play off, he can play on, and a little bit of press as well. I actually am quite impressed with him in that particular area. But no, Elijah Griffin, give me all the cornerbacks, give me all the secondary players. I wish that I could have got a better edge than Taron Jackson a little bit earlier. The value just wasn't there. Like I said, this Pro Football Network mock draft simulator is so weird on their value that it's kind of hard to work your way through this and work your magic. I wish that I would have taken the draft network because I think I could have done a little bit better job.
All right, kick it over to me to let me finish off. I want to say, though, I found it ironic that before your last pick, White Hubert ended up being the selection. And anytime when I watch him, there's a movie called Meet the Robinsons, and in it there's a T-Rex, and at one point in the movie he can't get the kid in the corner. He's like, big can't, big head, little arms. And every time I watch White Hubert trying to make and stuff like that, I just think of that because his lack of length has led to a decent amount of failures to make a tackle.
Yep.
Now I am at pick 231. I believe I have like 4 picks left because all my stupid trade downs that are going to make my mock draft better than Nick or better than Luke's here, or Lance's here. And so many different names.
How many names are you going to call me today?
It's like the parents of multiple kids that have to go through like every single name of the child before they get to the right one. I dealt with that a lot, being the youngest of 3 boys. It was always Aaron, Justin, Erick. Unless they were really mad, then it was Gordon. But anyways.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, back to the mock draft, and there's still plenty of value here. I already took a receiver. I don't want to take another receiver. I might end up taking one a little bit later, like with my last pick. Just another shot in the dark with it. There's definitely options here. I like Josh Palmer. I like Tim Jones. I like Dax Milne out of BYU. He really helped out Zach Wilson a lot, and I think that often goes underappreciated. I've taken 3 corners and a safety here. I'm not looking at another guy for that. So another defensive back. So right here, I'm kind of stuck. This is where the trades really kind of come in to backfire, is because where's the value at here? It's at positions I've already taken. I don't want to take it. So looking over on the defensive line, I want to add help here. Only one I've added is Jalen Twyman. I'd like to add another body into that. And Taquan Graham, I'm just going to click on this because I want to see his size real quick. 6'3", 290. Okay. I thought he was around that 300 mark. Now, when you talk about run defenders on the defensive line, Taquan Graham is probably one of the better ones in this class. He's so good at it, but his pass rush ability takes a hit. Well, that's fine with me because Jalen Twyman's not the best run defender. So I want to balance that out. I'm going to take Taquan Graham here, balance out that pass rush ability with the run defense between the two guys. Try to get them working with each other, developing, competing with each other for them both to get better. Then I'm going to take a look at linebackers because I would like to add another linebacker. Only one I've added right so far was Baron Browning, who I think could do it all. We have Justin Strnad, who's a cover guy. I'm going to take a cover guy who can come in and compete with him. I like Anthony Hines. He's a cover guy.
There you go.
His run defense isn't good at all. But he's a guy who can come in. He can compete to shut down the tight ends that we face in the AFC West with Justin Strnad and potentially be some help there. And again, I come back looking at the overall big board. Still a bunch of corners, a bunch of receivers. Chris Rumpf, an edge out of Duke. I remember Nick, he actually brought him up to me a little bit a while ago. I believe it was like just after the draft last year, I think, early summer. Brought him up, talked to me about it. Very athletic. He has some issues against the run, though. He's a little bit light for me. Scrolling down here.
So, Eric, hold on. I got a comment coming in here from Andrew Switzer, and he says, what do you guys think of Cameron Bynum? And I was looking at your board there, and Cameron Bynum is available. I know you've already got 3 cornerbacks, but this cornerback out of Cal, he got beat up at the Senior Bowl. Eric, why don't you break him down just a little bit?
I don't like him in Vic Fangio's scheme. I don't think he has great versatility. I view him as kind of a cover 3 guy, kind of what Seattle did with the Legion of Boom. And with that, you really need talented corners, and I just don't see it with him. Not what Denver runs. I don't think he can do more than that. It's just going to be a pass for me at this point.
Yeah, hip fluidity is an issue with him. He doesn't turn and run very well, which you definitely have to have that ability to turn your hips and run with guys, and that's why he got absolutely just torched at the Senior Bowl over and over and over again. He was the ass end of literal many jokes. Like, quite honestly, guys, he was not good.
Yeah, I'm going to go look at the offensive tackles, see what they have here. I was hoping one guy particularly would fall to this point. He didn't. That's Josh Ball, an offensive tackle out of Maryland, another developmental guy. But I see Cole Van Lanen.
Yeah,
I got a developmental guy of Dante Smith. I want somebody who's a little bit safer. Cole Van Lanen, Wisconsin, they just churn out offensive linemen just at such an astronomical amount. I'm going to go Cole Van Lanen. I'm going to get the little bit of safety net there for that. And I'm trying to think. I'm taking an interior offensive lineman. Let's see what they have. Drew Dahlman, he's a light guy, very outside zone. Paul Gratton, he's another outside zone guy. Just looking at the names, Bryce Hargrove, maybe. Larry Baram, he's a tackle that's going to be moved into inside. There's names, but their ability as a prospect in the NFL just kind of leaves me wanting more. Now, tight end, and I know a lot of people are going to hate me because there's a lot of bodies here, but I'd be looking at tight end at this point. Dylan Soner out of Iowa State, if you want a blocker guy, he's definitely an option. Jack Stoll, Luke Farrell out of Ohio State. But again, it's just I look at seeing at those guys for what?
Is Matt Bushman available?
Nope.
No, unfortunately. I actually like him. That was another guy that actually helped out Zach Wilson a lot at BYU with his receiving ability. He's an underrated blocker as well. He's got to work a little bit on some strength. He needs to add some weight as well, some more power. But as far as a mover at the wide tight end position, I think that you could actually work with him, and he can be a developmental guy, especially if the Broncos want to move on from Jake Butt, who is, I believe, a restricted free agent, and also Troy Fumagalli, who is a restricted free agent as well. You've got Alvaro Wegman coming back, so.
I wouldn't expect Fumagalli or Butt back on a restricted tender if they're brought back as an extension.
Yeah, and it would be a cheap extension too, like a 2-year, not even $4 million, like 2 years, $3.5 million kind of a deal, something like that. It
1 year, $1 million for Jake Butt with only the minimum guaranteed.
And
1 year, $2 million for Troy Fumagalli, because at least he showed something towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to the tight ends. As much as I want to take one here, there's just a bunch of names that there's 5 picks after mine left on the draft. I'll try and just target a guy after the draft at this point. Interior defensive line, nobody here left really. Maybe a Jordan Scott, but no. Let's go wide receiver. Wide receiver might be where this falls because I've got the need for speed, and probably the only person, in my opinion, at wide receiver who can, well, at this stage, who can really challenge Anthony Schwartz with speed is Marquez Stevenson. I'm going to Marquez Stevenson. I'm going to add more speed to this offense. We're rolling back with Drew Lock as a starter in this. We're going to go see what he can do with all this speed, all these even more weapons added to it, let them compete better in that wide receiver room, possibly getting rid of Deshaun Hamilton and just going out there and just letting them play. So let me go through a recap. I'll start with the trades first. So I had 3 trades. And hold on. Go ahead. My bad. I traded down with the Chicago Bears. They traded up to get Justin Fields. Now, I traded 9. I got pick 20, pick 52, pick 165, and a 2022 second-round pick. Now, this is great in case the Broncos do have a big change on the coaching staff next year. Getting that 2022 second-round pick, that's just extra ammo for them to go get a guy early that the new coaching staff likes. Because if you have a change in the coaching staff, a lot of the earlier guys who were drafted under the Vic Fangio regime are going to be on their way out of it unless they step up their play. It's that simple. At that point, I mean, Josie Jewell may be on his way out, so it could go get you a linebacker depending on what happens in this year, all sorts of stuff. So obviously adding that feature value, especially with your coaching staff in flux, is a big option for it. I took Baron Browning and Anthony Schwartz with the 2 picks I kept. Obviously, I traded pick 20. The Green Bay Packers traded up to get Tevin Jenkins, who's a good pick for them. I really like that. Yeah. I traded down. I got Erick Stokes, my number 3 corner, my number 32 or 33 overall prospect. Can't remember off the top of my head. Got Jalen Twyman, an interior pass rusher out of Pittsburgh. Jamie Newman, a developmental quarterback option who I like to really kind of push Drew Lock, and a 22-22 5th-round pick. Now, this ammo, the thing that I didn't mention is with Denver rolling it back with Lock, if Lock doesn't do well, these are 2 extra picks they can use as ammo to move up and go get a guy.
Yep, if they want to. If they want to try to move up to number 1 overall, maybe go get a Sam Howell, Spencer Rattler, Keaton Slovis, whoever is going to be their potential number 1 overall quarterback, or potentially a riser guy. We don't know exactly how. Yeah, Desmond Ridder. There you go. That's another good one. Another kind of. He's probably not going to rise himself up into the first round. Brock Purdy out of Iowa State. That's a guy that you could probably get into second or third round maybe next year, depending on how he develops. There's definitely some options for the Broncos going into quarterback next year.
Yeah, and then my final trade was I traded an early 3rd round pick for 2 late 3rd round picks and a 7th round pick. Got another edge rusher, got another cornerback, got an offensive tackle, a safety offensive tackle. Now, James Hudson, he was one that I was considering, and obviously I did my trades off screen just for time reasons. James Hudson, I considered just taking and not making the trade, but I decided that the value of these extra picks were better than just pick 71 on James Hudson, so I decided to go that way. Now, my picks, Erick Stokes. Get yourself a possible number 1 corner. If not, well, you have Trill Williams sitting there behind him. So better the boundary corners with Michael Ojimudi out there. You've bettered the depth. Curry Vincent Jr., you're bettered your nickel position. Richie Grant, you have a guy who can sit there and develop, be that number 3 safety this year. You don't have to bring back Will Parks. It also gives you options with Kareem Jackson. I think he'll be back maybe at a reduced cost. Not sure yet, but here's a potential replacement for him. Baron Browning, here you go. Bye-bye Josie Jewell. Or Alexander Johnson, whichever way. Here's a guy who can do everything you want and need from your linebacker position. Won't be elite at it, but he can do it all. Jordan Smith, developmental edge, eventually take over for Von Miller whenever the end of his time comes. If they bring him back at a reduced cost, it could be a few years from now. It could even be as early this year because I don't think they keep him at his current cost.
No, I don't.
I mentioned Trill Williams to better that cornerback room. Dante Smith, developmental tackle option. I'd bet on his ability, on Mike Munchak's ability to coach him up and develop him. Jalen Twyman, again, similar story as Dante Smith, just betting on with Bill Kohler's ability to develop Jalen Twyman, as he's kind of done with Draymond Jones. And I view Jalen Twyman very similarly to how I viewed Draymond Jones when he came out of Ohio State just a couple of years ago. Jamie Newman, there's that quarterback, developmental guy. Maybe the new staff likes him. They're able to develop him. Maybe not. Maybe he comes in, becomes a starter, and does great. We're not sure yet. I think Thornton Nystrom is the guy who hasn't made this comparison, but Jamie Newman is very David Gerard-like, and I like that comparison.
Yeah,
Gary Vincent,
good,
bettering your nickel corner spot, especially for post Bryce Callahan, because I don't think Bryce Callahan should be extended after this year. Anthony Schwartz adding more speed to your offense, along with Marquez Stevenson. Cole Van Lannon, you got a developmental tackle. Well, here's your safe option to counter it. Anthony Hines, just a cover linebacker, special teams type player. Taquan Graham, very good run defender, needs to develop his pass rush a little bit. Maybe Jalen Twyman, Draymond Jones, these guys can help him out there. And then Khalil Herbert with pick 193. I kind of went the last few picks backwards. Just a running back can be the lead cow or the lead back in a stable.
Are you done yet? Are you finally done?
Hey, more darts, man. I want to say real quick, let me count them up. I got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I got 15 picks. Now, I know that's a lot and everything, but the last 2 years, the Minnesota Vikings, they ended with, I think, 15 picks last year and 13 picks the year before.
They had 14 picks a couple of times. That's what George likes to do is trade down.
George Payton learned from Rick Spielman. They value picks. They value those, having those shots.
Right.
So I brought that in. This is more than I would have asked for in return, but I was trying to go with that mindset of just getting more picks.
Right. Well, unfortunately for everybody coming into here, I did not do a whole lot of trading down. I did trade down from number 40 to number 51. I took Caleb Farley at number 9 overall. I really wanted to kind of go through and get that Chicago Bears trade down pick, the same kind of thing that you did, and target like a Joseph Osai, maybe an Azeez Ojulari down at the 20 area, 2022, something like that. But at the same time, the value that I got on the trades that were offered to me without going and searching for another trade partner, they just weren't there. So I took Caleb Farley at number 9. Back that up with Gregory Newsome, the second out of Northwestern. Another tremendous scheme fit boundary guy, can slide inside if you want to. Caleb Farley can also play on the inside, even though I think that he's better on the boundary. 71 overall, I took Spencer Brown, the offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa. I believe it was Albert Knoppers that just jumped on Facebook asking who would you develop or take as a developmental right tackle guy, this is the perfect guy. Great length, great athleticism, is an aggressive enough run blocker, good pass sets. He does a really good job pulling as well, gets out in front of the screen game. This is a really good developmental guy, and he could potentially come in as a starter on day one. Marvin Wilson here, versatile defensive lineman, can two gap, can one gap, play multiple different positions up along that multiple different techniques on that defensive line. I think he's better as a 3 or potentially even a 5 technique. And he can also play down inside at the 1 technique if you need him to. And he's just exactly what Vic Fangio likes in his defensive linemen. 193 here, guys. Again, this mock draft simulator is wild in their value of Paris Ford, the safety out of Pittsburgh. This is a guy very versatile. He can fly all over the field. Great athlete. Can play in man, can play in zone, can play single high safety if you need him to, drop down into the box and provide a very physical thumper kind of a safety mold if you want him to. This is another natural fit for Kareem Jackson, but also versatile enough of a guy that you can drop him back into coverage and play him like the Justin Simmons does. But also with what Vic Fangio likes from his safeties, you want him to be multi-talented and versatile in what they do. You don't want to have just single high guys and then a box guy. You want to have guys that can play high and play in the box both together at the same time, so you can disguise your coverages a little bit better. KJ Britt, this is a developmental coverage linebacker out of Auburn. I like the athleticism, probably a little bit smaller, needs to add some weight, and is not necessarily the greatest in the running game. He gets blown off the spot, not a great scraper in that aspect, but he can do it. I like his developmental prospect behind Josie Jewell. That's probably the biggest oversight that I have, is not being able to get a linebacker earlier in this class. Taron Jackson, he's probably more of a 4-3 edge, but he has some bend, has some strength, great leverage, gets some good length underneath, really good bull rush as well. I like this kid out of Coastal Carolina. And then we got Elijah Griffin, another cornerback for this Broncos team. As Eric actually very astutely opined earlier, this is Devontae Bosby 2.0. Probably not as long, probably not as big, but very aggressive kind of guy, likes to click and close on the ball, drives vertically very well, a good solid tackler, just takes too many risks, and that's probably why we're going to have him down this low in the draft, just because you gotta kind of coach that out of him and get him to play within the scheme a little bit more, and Vic Fangio is going to have to work on this kid, but it's a good scheme fit. I like this kid a lot, and also with that trade down from number 40, I did pick up a 2022 second rounder from the Washington football team to potentially use as a trade-up chip if you have to, or potentially grab into that edge class that's coming out next year, which looks like it's going to have some players as well.
Yeah, and I just want to say is, with Elijah Griffin being Devontae Bosby 2.0, part of that is the size. Devontae Bosby only plays about 180.
Right.
So does Elijah Griffin. They're about 175, 180. Very light, length. They're long. Elijah Griffin's got good length too.
Okay.
So their play styles are similar. They play more physical than their body can handle sometimes. Now we're probably going to run about 10-15 minutes long about here, so we can get to some questions in the chat about it. And just want to give this out too. This is going to be your last chance, guys, to enter a chance to win joining our show next week, where you guys get to run your own general manager. Everybody who's already super chatted, you guys don't need to super chat again unless you want better odds to win. I mean, because each super chat you gain an entry. And Tyler Randall with the $10 donation. Thank you, Tyler, man. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. This is a new name as well, actually. This is a name that I haven't seen.
I thought he had showed up with us like a couple weeks ago or a week ago or something like that with the super chat. It's definitely a new word, but I'm pretty sure he's been in here before. He says, no question tonight, just wanted to pop in and show some love. Hey, man, we appreciate
that.
Since I haven't been able to in a while, keep up the great work. Hashtag DB4L. Hashtag Broncos country, hashtag State of being in Oklahoma.
Yeah, man. Broncos country is not a geographical location. It is a state of being. Eric is up in Alaska. I'm in Wyoming. You got Moana down running everything behind the scenes here. He's in Colorado. We've got guys in Texas. We've got some guys in Connecticut. We've got some guys completely overseas. James Campbell is from England. You've got Peter Middleton. Again, shout him out from Turkey, who joins the show every now and again if he gets a chance to stay up late, but he always listens to the show every single morning. He actually messaged me that the other day. Shout out where you guys are from. Broncos country, again, not a geographical location. It is a state of being. And what's that saying that you had, that Mandalorian phrase?
So as you can tell, I'm a big Star Wars nerd and everything like that. And Mandola is the language of the Mandalorians. If you're not familiar with Star Wars, Boba Fett is a Mandalorian, but we don't need to get into that. But there's a saying, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it means family is more than blood. And it's definitely true with doing these podcasts and everything like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of you guys have become somewhat of an extended family for us. Always showing your support behind us with however which way, liking the shows, sharing them, subscribing to Facebook, buying stuff, super chatting, whatever the case may be. You guys show us your support and everything like that, and you guys are definitely part of the MHH family that all of us are a part of, and we're glad to have you. We may not always get along, but we have one thing in common, that is we love the Broncos.
Yes, absolutely. This is the way from the Mandalorian. Albert Knopper is originally from Holland and now in Washington State. Hey, see if you can't link up with Nick Kendall up there in Seattle. You might be able to go and grab him a beer every now and again, because from what I understand, hashtag Nick's Beer Fund is still a thing. So make sure you guys link up with him. Drew Love, born in Colorado. Let's see here. ENC Raider from California. Yeah, guys, again, just to echo Erick's sentiment, it's so great to come here on Friday nights and be able to talk football with you guys and drop some knowledge for you and just have some fun and let Erick shine. Erick shine tonight, big time. I mean, everybody go and follow him at Erick Trickel on Twitter. Get at him. Tell him that he's a long-winded talker and that he needs to slow down on the trades and everything, because all he did was just steal the show from me, which I don't necessarily appreciate, but at the same time, I definitely appreciate that, man.
well, first of all, I'm pretty sure John's down there pointing at you being the long-winded talker, but neither one of us have anything on Nick. And anyways, if you really want me to shine, I can turn my light on. It really makes my face nice and shiny. But it's always great to learn where everybody's from and everything like that, man. Just all around the country, all around the world, and man, Broncos country really isn't a geographical location; it's a state of being. There was a question here that I wanted to grab real quick. That
I've got one while you're looking for it, because I've got one from Black Knight. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Erick. You got that.
That was the one that I was going to grab.
The tackle from Northwestern.
What about Slater? I think he's a first round pick. If Denver really wanted to go get an offensive lineman early, I think that I wouldn't mind him at 9 overall. I like him. He's my number 2 offensive tackle in the class. Go ahead and pull up the question about Nick Bolton, John. Because this is actually a funny one. So I made the joke about Wyatt Hubert and the big head, little arms. That comes to mind with Nick Bolton as well. He lacks length. He's a little bit longer than Wyatt Hubert, but his lack of length really shows up when it comes to in coverage.
Yep.
So I have concerns there. He reminds me a lot of Josie Jewell. He's a chase linebacker. He's not a guy that's going to take on blocks. And his issues in coverage aren't as athletically limiting, or aren't caused because of his athletic limitations as much as Jewell is, but more so his length. I mean, he's not the most gifted athlete either, but he's a smart guy, and I think that Vic Fangio could probably make him work better than Josie Jewell, but yet the lack of length there is just bothers me a little bit. Drew Love asked the question, what do you guys think about Larry Roundtree type running back? He's an all-around back and has a nose for the end zone. He's been getting hyped lately. I'm just not on it. Yeah, I like him. To me, I don't see an upgrade over Royce Freeman, really. He's a worse version of Royce Freeman in college. It is how I see him.
I actually agree with you. A decent vision, he can get through the hole and burst, but he doesn't have any breakaway speed. He's actually probably slower than Royce Freeman is, and is not nearly the pass catcher out of the backfield, or even if you want to line him out wide and go catch the football in the passing game, he's not going to be that. And he's also probably a little bit lesser of a pass protector as well. If you're going to go Larry Roundtree, I can understand that, but you're moving on from Royce Freeman and kind of bouncing up on that upside the better vision a little bit. But also, I mean, it's a redundant pick for where the Broncos are at right now, unless they get rid of Royce Freeman and they miss out on a guy like a Khalil Herbert and or a Ramondre Stevenson out of Oklahoma. That's my dude. I like that kid. I do want to bounce off just a little bit on real quick
on Ramondre Stevenson. He's Eddie Lacy, like fat version Eddie Lacy.
Yep.
Like the not very good version of Eddie Lacy. I'm not a big fan on him, man.
I like him. I like him in pass protection. He actually impressed me at the Senior Bowl. He's not fat version. I understand where you're coming at. He's a longer, slender version of that. But yeah, the same version of the not fast, the not explosive. He's at least a decent pass catcher. But I liked him in pass protection at the Senior Bowl. I think he impressed and actually kind of got some people to look more in his direction as well. But I want to bounce this back to actually, let's go. Paris Robinson here. I want McTelvin Najim to lift like crazy this season and come back stronger. He can be like a Fletcher Cox or Aaron Donald. Yeah, I could see that if he added some weight.
Fletcher Cox more so than Aaron Donald.
Exactly. Aaron Donald is just a crazy freak with his length and the fact that he's so short and the power that he has and the speed that he has. McTelvin Ajim has some speed to him, but he's a lot longer. Well, not a lot longer than Aaron, a lot taller than Aaron Donald, and has a little bit more to work as far as a frame to fill out. And I could see the Fletcher Cox comparison there. But I do want to bounce this back to Black Knight 32 or 232 about the Rashawn Slater deal. I actually just did a guest appearance on the One Bar and Luppick show. They're a Minnesota Vikings podcast doing a live mock draft. It's on my Twitter account at Sanderson MHH. Go and check that out, where I did lay out the Broncos taking Rashawn Slater at number 9 overall. So go check that out, guys, and give those guys some love. They do a really good job over there on YouTube as well. So yeah, there's some extra content for you to bring out new names.
Real quick with Black Knight. I wanted to ask you this earlier, but was keeping it football. I know you're a gamer. What game is it that you play? I can't remember which one.
Right,
it is. Yeah, just hit us up. Let us know in the chat which one it is, because I mean, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty and Apex Legends and kind of found my love for that. So I'm just getting curious what it is.
Michael De Pasqualo coming in here. What do you all think of Dylan Moses? I love the player. I really do. I just don't think that he's necessarily a great fit for what the Broncos want to do. I have questions with him dropping into coverage. I really do. I think he can go sideline to sideline, but it's like I don't necessarily know how to put this, because it's almost like he's lazy in coverage, but at the same, or he's like he doesn't see and recognize and drive on the ball well enough. He's got the athleticism to play. Like, go ahead, Eric. I just expand on that a little bit.
My issue with him is when I watch him, it seems like he just overthinks. It's like he sees something break it down, and he's like, "Oh, well, what about this?" And just kind of just.
It's a hesitation. It's a weird hesitation with him.
Weird hesitation like that.
I don't get it.
Black Knight came back in, said StarCraft. Man, I used to watch the StarCraft competition, and man, like that's some crazy skill there. Fast clicking, like it's just hard. I see a couple other people saying Warzone. Yeah, guys, if you ever want to play Warzone, just feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I'm terrible at it, but I'm terrible at it. That's about the only positive I have is I'm terrible at it.
I'm not a gamer by any stretch of the imagination. However, I am hype for the release that happened today. Pokemon just dropped their new video games coming here in November. Bawana is losing it behind the seams here. Pound the table, slap your chest, man. Whatever. Pokemon is doing Diamond and Pearl remakes. They got a new Legend of Arceus game.
Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon
Snap. That's what I'm hyped for. But no, getting back to football about it. There was one comment that wasn't football that I wanted to get, and Robert Caslow says, "How do you say yo mama in Huddies?" I don't know how to say that, but I do know how to say certain curse words in it that if I say it on here, I might get in trouble because I'm not sure if Chad actually knows it. But yeah, I do know some curse words in Huddies. That's about it.
Hey, look at this. Mark jumping back in.
Mark,
what's up,
man?
Mark? What's going on, man? What's up, dude? Hashtag DVDD. We appreciate you joining the show. Did you catch the rest of the show? If not, reach out to us on Twitter. Shoot us a comment. We do got to get out of here, though, guys. We're at an hour and 11 minutes. So, unfortunately, that is going to wrap it up for us tonight on the Dove Valley Deep Divers. Guys, you guys can follow me at Sanderson MHH on Twitter, and for Eric, at Erick Trickel, while you guys are at it, at DVDD_pod. It's the easiest way to keep up with what's going on with the Dove Valley Deep Divers. Occasionally, we'll throw some takes on there as well. Again, also, guys, at Mile High Huddle, that right there is the mother account. You have instant news and analysis, breaking news, opinion articles, film breakdowns from your favorite Mile High Huddle personalities, including myself, Erick Trickel, Nick Kendall, Carl Dumler, Chad Jensen, Luke Patterson, Zach Kelberman, the whole gang here on the Huddle Up podcast. You find it all at Mile High Huddle.
Can I just say, it's like we need to start referring to at Mile High Huddle as the mothership.
It is the mothership.
It's the mothership because we got a lot of weird personalities on as part of the staff, so it's definitely the mothership for all of us.
I prefer the Death Star to keep it with the Star Wars themes here, or the Millennium Falcon, something like that. But anyways, guys, to continue to wrap this up here, guys, Facebook supporters, if you guys are willing to do so, Facebook guys, go to facebook.com/Mile High Huddle, become a supporter. You're going to get with that some premium content, including Kelberman's Corner, which drops drops every Sunday at noon, I believe. We're going to try to get the 5280 view off the ground here within the next month, probably after the draft.
On that, I actually have a meeting set up with Chad tomorrow to talk about doing that and a couple other stuff for that. So definitely look at becoming a supporter on Facebook.com/MileHighHuddle.
Yes, absolutely. For everybody out there, if you are willing to do so, well, actually, everyone should be doing this in the first place. The 3 easiest ways you can support the show: subscribe wherever you guys are watching this, on YouTube specifically. That helps with the algorithm. Facebook as well. Twitter, Twitch, does not matter. Subscribe to milehighhuddle.com. Like every video you see, and if you love it, share it. Now, guys, I do got to make a quick promo here. HuddleUpPod.com. There is new merch on the merch store. Thank you, John, for pulling this up. We got a new Mile High Huddle football short sleeve t-shirt with a new logo on there. I got to get one of these. In fact, here probably after the show, I will get that brought up so that you guys, for myself anyways, thanks for zooming in on that. Great, crispy new logo. I love it. I really want to get this shirt. But the easiest way to get that, guys, huddleuppod.com. You can also get yourself a hat, get yourself a t-shirt like that. You can get yourself a hoodie that says State of Being on it. You can get, there's a onesie for your baby, coffee cup, face mask, anything to suit your fancy from the guys or the girls. But I think that's actually it. I think I hit everything there as far as the matter of business. Now, Eric, great job on the dueling mock draft, guys. Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know who won. Before we get out of here, though, is there any last words?
Yeah, I won.
Yeah, Eric definitely won. Eric definitely won. I think I hit some value on some players, especially Paris Ford there in the 6th round. But also at the same time, that Pro Football Network mock draft machine is wonky, guys. Greg Smith jumping in here. Great job. Albert Knopfers on Facebook as well. Guys, I appreciate it. Oh, Richie coming in here with the Raiders diapers is good. I hit Chad up on those, by the way. I hit Chad up, and he said he's going to look into the Raiders washable diapers. So we're going to see that hopefully here soon. Tim Mack coming in here on YouTube as well. Thank you all for joining the Dove Valley Deep Divers podcast. Guys, we're going to be recording probably here in the next couple of days a quick little snippet on the giveaway that'll go up on the Twitter page and even potentially up on YouTube as well. Not exactly sure about that. Announcing who is the winner that gets to come on with the Super Chat Superstar that won the drawing to be able to come on. We got a late entry in here, Martin Araujo. Appreciate the no BS and accurate assessments of Drew Lock on this pod. Keep it up, fellas. Sometimes being honest is still considered hating. Denver Broncos for life. Absolutely, man. We do try to keep it real with you, give valid assessments and whatnot. It's the most polarizing conversation in Broncos country right now, without question. You say something positive, you're a Drew Lock honk. If you say something negative, you're a Drew Lock hater. Somewhere in the middle is where my take is. I think he has the ability to get there. I'm just not exactly sure how long I'm willing to wait for him to get there. So, but anyways, guys, we got to get out of here. Eric, have a great evening. All the rest of you guys, go ahead, Eric.
I just want to say is just kind of touching up on that is we're not sure exactly how we're announcing it yet. It might be just a mention at the end of one of the podcasts this week. Well, but whoever the winner is, we will definitely try to reach out to you, probably maybe through Twitter or something like that. So if you guys super chatted and aren't following us on Twitter, make sure you are, so we know how to get through to you. Keep an eye out for the Dove Valley Deep Divers Twitter account. Make sure you guys are following that as well.
Yep.
So we have some way to get in contact with you if you win. And everybody who super chatted, you guys are in there. And everybody who super chatted more than once over the last 2 weeks, you guys will be in there more than once. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. What day? That'll be next Friday. Next Friday, March 5th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Same time, same place on the Dove Valley Deep Divers podcast.
And the added benefit, too, is if you guys win, you guys get to spend a little bit of time with us behind the scenes and just see kind of what we do beforehand.
Sometimes the conversations behind the scenes get a little bit out of hand. So just be fair warned. They're a little bit fun sometimes. But anyways, guys, we got to get out of here. Y'all stay safe and take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. As always, go Broncos. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Have a great weekend.
Same Bat Network.